You feel it, don't you? A heaviness that has nothing to do with how many hours you slept last night. It's the invisible burden you carry, the weight of caring too much about things that deep down don't deserve to hold so much power over you. You catch yourself replaying old conversations, wondering if you sounded foolish, if someone misunderstood you, if people are silently judging you even now. This endless search for approval has quietly turned into a prison, and the harder you struggle to escape it, the tighter the walls seem to close in. But here's a question worth pausing for. What if the real problem was never out there? What if the storm you've been battling is not in your circumstances, but in your own mind? And what if that storm only keeps growing stronger because you keep feeding it with attention and fear? Today, we're going to step into a truth that most people spend their whole lives avoiding. It's uncomfortable. It's confronting. Yet hidden inside it is a doorway, a passage to a peace so rare that it doesn't depend on changing the world around you, but on releasing your grip on it. So stay present. Don't just hear these words. Let them sink in. Because before this video ends, I'll share with you one powerful Buddhist teaching, a seed of wisdom that can completely shift how you see your suffering and how you finally begin to free yourself from it. Lesson 1. Escaping the reaction trap. Discovering the power of the pause. We often believe our exhaustion comes from the noise of life, the endless tasks, the constant voices, the pressures of the world. But if you look closer, you'll see the real drain doesn't come from outside. It comes from inside, from the countless moments we tense up against reality, flinching at every opinion, every judgment, every small disappointment. You brace yourself as if life itself is an enemy. Yet the real conflict isn't the world. It's your insistence that the world should always be soft, fair, and gentle. Buddhism teaches us to see the mind not as a mirror, but as a calm lake. When still, its surface reflects the truth as it is. But the moment it's stirred by anger, pride, or fear, the reflection twists and bends until nothing looks clear anymore. What unsettles you is not the event itself. It's the way your mind clings to how it should have been. So ask yourself, why does a stranger's glance unsettle you? Why can one unanswered message or forgotten word leave you restless? It isn't because life is cruel. It's because the ego whispers, I deserve to be seen, respected, validated. And when the world doesn't echo that belief, you end up fighting, not with them, but with yourself. This is where the practice truly begins, not in suppressing your feelings, but in giving them space. What if, in that instant when anger rises, you didn't act? What if you simply paused? That pause may seem small, but it is sacred. It's the gap where wisdom lives. It's not weakness, it's awareness. The Buddha never asked us to be numb to life. He invited us to be free within it. Freedom doesn't mean feeling nothing. It means no longer being dragged away by every fleeting emotion. You can watch anger rise without becoming its voice. You can acknowledge pain without turning it into your identity. This is not detachment out of coldness. It's clarity. The less you feel the need to prove yourself to the world, the more deeply at peace you are within it. So the next time you feel yourself triggered, don't ask, who hurt me? Ask instead, what expectation am I protecting? Because the moment you stop needing everyone to understand you, you begin to understand yourself. That's the moment the lake grows still. The fire dies without consuming you. And in that quiet, you discover the kind of strength that doesn't shout, but endures. Lesson 2. The invisible strings that quietly steal your freedom. We like to believe we are in control of our lives, but if you stop long enough, you may notice something unsettling. Many of your daily movements aren't truly yours. You reach for your phone before you've even taken your first conscious breath. You nod yes with your lips even while every part of your body whispers, no. You keep showing up, pleasing, explaining, adjusting, without ever asking yourself why. This isn't freedom. This is conditioning. Invisible threads, fear, expectation, the craving for approval, have been tugging at your decisions like unseen hands guiding a marionette. These patterns didn't come from your essence. They were learned, absorbed, handed down. And yet, for years, they've dictated your responses as if they were your only option. The Buddha never promised escape from life. What he offered was clarity. And clarity begins not by asking, "What's wrong with the world?" but by daring to ask, "What story have I accepted without ever questioning it?" Look closer. That constant urge to prove yourself. That pressure to never fall behind. That gnawing belief that your worth depends on how others see you. These are not random moods. They're old scripts written into your mind, patterns that whisper, "If I just try harder, maybe then I'll earn peace." But here's the truth. The moment you can see the string, you are no longer bound by it. Awareness turns the puppet into the observer. Try this simple practice. The next time your chest tightens after a careless remark, or you feel the urge to explain yourself yet again, don't rush to resist and don't rush to act. Instead, gently ask, "What am I really chasing right now? Whose approval do I think I need? What fear is this emotion trying to protect?" That is how you loosen the string. True simplicity is not about emptying your closet. It's about emptying the noise within. It's the courage to no longer treat every thought as an order you must obey. It's the quiet decision to not defend, not perform, not carry weight that was never yours. Because you were never meant to live as a reflection of everyone else's demands. You were meant to wake up, to notice the program running, to choose for yourself. Peace is not about controlling what surrounds you. It is about seeing clearly what no longer deserves to control you. When you recognize the string for what it is, just a thought, just a habit, just a fear, you can finally let it drop. You are not broken. You are simply entangled. And freedom isn't about becoming more. It's about becoming less bound. Release the performance. Release the pressure. Release the illusion that you must be everything in order to be enough. Because beneath all those strings, there is a you that has always been whole. You are not the puppet. You are the awareness that can finally put the script down and walk freely. Lesson 3. The gentle power of letting go. Most of us live as if peace can be earned by holding on tighter, clinging to people, to plans, to the image of how life should be. But here's the paradox. The tighter you hold, the more life slips through your fingers. It's like trying to trap water by squeezing your fist. The harder you grip, the more it escapes, leaving you tense, restless, and thirsty for relief. Have you noticed how exhausting it feels, even on quiet days? That's not because the world is against you. It's because your mind is clutching at everything, clutching at outcomes you can't command, clutching at the need to be understood, clutching at the endless pressure to always get it right. Buddhism doesn't promise a flawless life. Instead, it whispers a truth most of us resist. Suffering isn't created by what leaves us. It's born in the hands that refuse to release. And the truth is sobering. You don't have to solve every misunderstanding. You don't have to convince those who've already judged you. You don't have to bend yourself into shapes just to keep others comfortable. None of those burdens were ever yours to carry. What if peace isn't something to chase, but something that emerges the moment you stop gripping so tightly? Picture your mind as a vast sky, limitless and unbroken. Every fear, every judgment, every demand you cling to is like a balloon straining in your grasp. Imagine loosening your hold, just one string at a time. Notice what happens. The sky doesn't collapse when the balloons drift away. It expands, it clears, it breathes. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you learn to care wisely, to give your energy only to what truly nourishes you, not to everything that shouts for your attention. You don't have to make your heart smaller, only your attachments lighter. Start with gentle acts of freedom. Resist the urge to check every ping of your phone. Let one criticism pass without defense. Stop explaining yourself to people who were never listening. Guard your stillness as if it were sacred, because it is. Ask yourself softly, what am I still gripping today? Whose approval am I chasing? What fear am I feeding by refusing to let go? The answer won't be collapse. The answer will be clarity. Because peace doesn't arrive as a prize for perfection. It returns the moment control dissolves. It is not something new you gain, but something ancient you remember. You were never meant to carry the whole world on your shoulders. Not every opinion is truth. Not every outcome needs your hand to unfold. Let go, not because you are weak, but because you are tired of carrying what was never yours. Let go, not to abandon life, but to finally step into it without chains. And when you do, peace stops being a fleeting guest. It becomes the home you live in. Lesson 4. The shift that sets you free. There comes a small yet life-changing moment when something inside you pauses and whispers, "Wait, maybe I am not my thoughts." From that single realization, everything begins to change. For years, you may have lived believing every story your mind told you. That you are behind in life, that you're not enough, that you must prove, chase, earn, and fix endlessly to deserve peace. And so, you run in circles, trapped inside your own head, mistaking the endless noise for truth and the storm for your very self. But here lies the shift that sets you free. You are not the storm. You are the vast, open sky that holds it. In Buddhist wisdom, liberation doesn't come from controlling or silencing thoughts. It comes from seeing them clearly. Doubts, fears, judgments, they will continue to arise, just like weather crossing the sky. But weather is not the sky, and thoughts are not you. The next time anxiety tightens its grip, try shifting your language. Don't say, "I am anxious." Instead, say, "Anxiety is here." Don't say, "I'm failing." Say, "The mind is telling me a failure story." That simple change pulls you out of the storm and into the calm witness. The chaos softens into clarity. Because once you stop identifying with every flicker of thought, you stop reacting as if your survival depends on it. You stop arguing with shadows and begin witnessing instead of absorbing. This is the essence of mindfulness. It is not about forcing silence on your mind, but about watching thoughts drift by without boarding everyone as if it were a train carrying your destiny. The mind may whisper, "They don't respect you," or "What if everything falls apart?" or "You're not good enough yet." Let it whisper. But remember, it is only a voice, not your voice. You are not here to solve every thought. You are here to stop letting those thoughts run the show. Most of what passes through your head is nothing more than echoes, reflections of fear, fragments of memory, or stories planted long ago by others. When you begin to see them as echoes instead of commands, their grip loosens. Clarity doesn't arise when the mind finally goes quiet. It arises when you stop believing every sound it makes. So when your mind spins, resist the urge to fight it. Simply observe. Watch the story play out like a film on a screen. Breathe slowly, smile softly, and let it pass in its own time. The sky never panics when clouds gather. It does not argue, resist, or chase them away. It simply waits, and eventually, the sky clears on its own. This is not cold detachment. It is wise compassion. You are not withdrawing from life. You are withdrawing from the illusion that every fleeting thought deserves your energy. And as this practice deepens, something beautiful begins to unfold. You stop drowning in the waves because you realize you were never the waves to begin with. You are not the restless ocean. You are the sky, still, spacious, unshaken. You don't need to silence your mind. You only need to remember this simple truth. You were never the storm. You are the one watching it pass. Lesson 5. The power of living lightly. Most people think they're exhausted because they're doing too much. But if you look closely, the real exhaustion doesn't come from the quantity of what you do, it comes from the emptiness within much of what you do. Your days are filled with conversations that drain you, tasks that don't reflect your values, and distractions that scream for your attention but leave you hollow when they're done. You're not tired of effort, you're tired of meaninglessness. Buddhism never glorifies endless motion. It doesn't romanticize the hustle. Instead, it honors presence, stillness, and the quiet discipline of doing only what truly matters. The Buddha once reminded us, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. In the same way, one meaningful act carried out with full awareness is worth more than 100 half-hearted gestures. Think of your life like a bowstring. Each responsibility, each demand, each distraction tugs at it. But if your aim is scattered, if you're firing arrows in every direction, none of them will ever reach their mark. Your energy gets stretched thin, and your peace is lost in the process. The truth is that distractions don't just waste time, they steal presence. You cannot fully taste the moment you're in if your mind is already racing ahead to the next 5. And when your attention is divided, your life becomes divided too. A divided life can only lead to disorientation. But imagine this shift. What if today, instead of scattering yourself across endless tasks, you chose just 3 things, 3 intentions, 3 moments, 3 commitments where your full presence truly matters? What if you allowed the rest to fade into the background, recognizing them as noise rather than necessity? Not every demand deserves your energy. Not every request deserves your yes. Some things exist only to keep you busy while pulling you away from your center. Real mastery is not found in constant activity. It's found in meaningful activity. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most and doing it with your whole heart. Start small. That email that can wait, let it wait. That draining conversation you dread you're allowed to decline. That lingering task born out of guilt instead of purpose, cross it off. Reclaim your time, not by filling it, but by filtering it. Doing less is not laziness, it is courage. The courage to say, here is where my peace lives. Here is where I will place my energy. The rest, release. And when you live like this, something remarkable happens. The noise begins to fade. Your days become quieter, yet infinitely deeper. Your actions grow fewer, but far more meaningful. And your mind, once pulled in 100 directions, begins to feel like it has finally returned home. So ask yourself today, what is one thing I can let go of not to fall behind, but to realign with myself? What if success was never about completing everything, but about feeling whole in the few things that truly matter? You were never built to carry the weight of every demand. You were built to move with clarity, to act with precision, and to live like an arrow, steady, intentional, and at peace. Do less, but do it with fullness. Not to shrink your life, but to finally deepen it. Lesson 6. Stepping out of the story. Inside your mind, storms are always brewing. Thoughts rise like dark clouds, emotions roar like thunder, and before you know it, you're swept away by a downpour you never invited. But here's the paradox. The way out of the storm is not through controlling it, fixing it, or analyzing every drop of rain. Real freedom comes from no longer needing to fight the storm at all. Most of the suffering we carry doesn't come from what actually happens. It comes from the story our mind tells about it. Think about it. A short message that takes hours to get a reply, and suddenly your mind writes a script. They must be upset. I said something wrong. Maybe they don't value me anymore. Or a glance from a coworker, and the mind concludes, they must be judging me. I'm not respected here. The event itself was small, but the story you built around it becomes heavy enough to drain your entire day. This is what the Buddha pointed to when he said that the mind creates suffering through attachment. The external trigger is rarely the true problem. The real weight lies in the fiction we unconsciously build around it, and then mistake for truth. Your mind is, in many ways, a storyteller. It casts you in endless roles. The one who has to fix everything, the one to blame, the one who's not good enough. And if you're not mindful, you begin to live inside those roles. You start fighting problems that don't exist, defending yourself against invisible enemies, and exhausting yourself over illusions that were never real. But here's the liberating shift. You don't have to engage with every thought. You don't have to act on every feeling. You don't even have to solve every narrative your mind creates. You can simply watch, like the sky watching clouds drift by, like the ocean holding every wave without resistance. The next time your thoughts begin to spin a drama, pause. Don't react, don't solve, don't rush to untangle the story. Just step back and ask yourself, is this real, or is this simply a mental movie I'm watching? That one question creates space, and space is everything. In that space, you reclaim your power. You move from being the actor trapped inside the play to the witness sitting quietly in the audience. You see the drama unfolding, but you don't need to play your part. That is freedom. The freedom to no longer mistake the story for reality. Practical wisdom begins here. You don't need to fix every misunderstanding. You don't need every person to agree with you. You don't need to hold life to your expectations to feel steady. In fact, the moment you stop demanding alignment from everything around you, your peace becomes unshakable. So here is your practice for today. Choose just one inner drama, the loudest one that keeps looping in your mind. Maybe it's a fear about your future, a conflict with someone you care about, or a nagging thought that says you're not doing enough. Instead of fighting it, let it be. Watch it without feeding it. Let the story play without stepping onto the stage. You'll be surprised how quickly it begins to lose its grip when you stop giving it energy. Because sometimes strength is not found in fixing the thought or resisting the feeling. Sometimes strength is found in doing nothing at all, simply standing still and letting the storm pass on its own. Remember, you are not the chaos. You are the space in which chaos comes and goes. You are not required to silence every storm. You only need to remember that you don't have to stand in the rain. And as this practice deepens, something extraordinary happens. You discover that peace was never gone. It was only hidden beneath the noise of the stories your mind was telling. The moment you step out of the story, you step back into the sky, still, open, and free. Lesson 7. Staying open in the midst of pain. When pain arrives, our instinct is almost always the same, to close. We retreat into ourselves, tighten our grip, put up walls, and brace for impact. It feels natural to believe that protecting ourselves means surviving. Yet the uncomfortable truth is this: real healing never happens behind armor. It happens when we remain open, especially when it hurts the most. The heart is not a stone, it is more like a flower. And a flower doesn't bloom by avoiding storms, it grows through them. The Buddhist path reminds us of a truth that often feels impossible to accept. We suffer not because pain exists, but because we cling to comfort, to control, to the illusion that life should always unfold the way we prefer. Clinging is clever. It rarely announces itself as attachment. Instead, it wears disguises. Sometimes it shows up as shutting down, pretending not to care, or pushing people away in the name of self-protection. But the truth is, what we resist only lingers. What we guard against often burrows deeper, and what we numb becomes the very thing that continues to shape us in silence. Think back to a time you were hurt not physically, but in your heart. Maybe a betrayal, a rejection, or the quiet ache of being misunderstood. Did you harden? Did you build walls around yourself, telling the world, "I don't need anyone, I don't care"? It was human to do so, but it was also the beginning of another kind of suffering, the suffering of disconnection. Because when we shut down, we don't just block out pain, we block out love, joy, and the possibility of renewal. The real strength, then, is not in hardening. It is in staying soft. It is not in closing, but in remaining open to life even when it stings. This doesn't mean you become naive. It doesn't mean you tolerate abuse or invite people to harm you. It means that even in pain, you refuse to lose your humanity. You allow yourself to feel without needing to build a cage around the feeling. When you notice tightness in your chest, instead of numbing it, pause, breathe. Don't run. Don't explain it away. Ask yourself gently, what part of me is closing right now and why? Is it fear? Is it shame? Is it habit? And once you see it, breathe into that space. Let it soften, even if only a fraction. Not because the pain has vanished, but because you've stopped resisting it. And in that softening, you've already reclaimed your power. You see, shutting down doesn't protect you. It imprisons you. Walls meant to keep pain out end up keeping you trapped inside. Staying open, however, allows the pain to move through you instead of becoming part of you. It prevents discomfort from hardening into identity. So here is your quiet practice. The next time life stings, resist the urge to collapse inward. Stay. Just stay. Breathe deeply. Notice where you're closing and ask that place to loosen. When someone offends you, practice softening instead of hardening. When expectations fall apart, remain present instead of running. And when fear knocks at your door, open it. Not to surrender, but to see clearly that fear is only a messenger, never a master. This is emotional resilience, not becoming unshakable, but remaining human. Not armoring yourself against life, but daring to stay soft in its presence. This softness is not weakness, it is wisdom. It signals to your entire being, I am safe. I don't have to shut down. And that is a strength so rare it almost looks like surrender. But it's not surrender to pain, it's surrender to truth. So ask yourself now, where in your life have you hardened? What wounds have turned into walls? And what would happen if, just for a breath, you allowed yourself to reopen? Imagine softening, not for the world's sake, but for your own. Imagine letting life move through you instead of building barricades against it. The heart that stays open after breaking is not fragile, it is expansive. It doesn't shrink under pain, it grows larger, more compassionate, more capable of holding life as it truly is. That expansion, that widening of the heart, is where freedom begins. Because in the end, survival is not about how tightly you hold on, it's about how deeply you allow yourself to remain open. And the soul that stays open in pain doesn't just survive, it transforms. Lesson 8. Releasing the rope of expectations, where freedom truly begins. You wake up in the morning and without saying it out loud, you carry a hope in your chest. Maybe today someone will send you a kind message. Maybe your partner will notice the effort you've been giving. Maybe a friend will finally reach out first. These aren't spoken requests, but silent expectations woven tightly inside you. And when they aren't met, your mood shifts. The day feels heavier. Not because life has betrayed you, but because you were unknowingly holding a rope tied to how you believed it should unfold. Expectations are like invisible strings. We tie them to people, to events, to ourselves, believing they'll hold everything together. But more often than not, those strings don't hold. They tangle, they tighten, and they quietly strangle our peace. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. And what are expectations, if not polished forms of attachment? They are attachments dressed up as fairness, as hope, as what's supposed to happen. But beneath the disguise, they are simply demands we place on life, insisting it bend to our script. Think about it. It's rarely the missed text that hurts. It's the story your mind writes about it. They don't care. I must not matter. It's not the friend forgetting your birthday. It's the narrative. They should have remembered. It's not the setback at work. It's the belief. By now, I should already be further ahead. The pain isn't the event. It's the rope of expectation wrapped tightly around it. But life isn't a play you get to direct. It is unscripted, untamed, unpredictable. The more you try to force it to follow your lines, the more you suffer through every scene that doesn't match your script. So pause and ask yourself honestly, who am I silently waiting on right now? What expectation am I clutching that is quietly stealing my peace? Maybe you're waiting for recognition that never comes. Maybe you're waiting for a relationship to change. Maybe you're waiting for life to reward you in the way you imagined. But here's the hard truth. The waiting doesn't hurt because nothing is happening. The waiting hurts because you've tied yourself to how it should happen. Picture yourself standing on the edge of a cliff, gripping a thick rope. At the other end, dangling over the abyss, is a massive boulder with the words, "How things are supposed to be carved into it." Your hands ache, your skin burns, your grip is tearing you apart. And yet you tell yourself that if you just hold tighter, maybe it will stop hurting. But the reality is simple. The only relief comes when you open your hands and let go. Letting go of expectations is not giving up. It is choosing to see life as it is, not as your mind insists it must be. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you no longer chain your peace to outcomes you cannot control. So here's your practice. Today, let go of one rope. Just one. The rope of needing your partner to read your mind. The rope of needing your job to validate your worth. The rope of waiting for your past to rewrite itself. Free yourself, not by forcing life to change, but by releasing the demand that it must. And here's the quiet wisdom most people never say aloud. Peace doesn't come when everything goes right. Peace comes when you no longer expect that it has to. So take a breath. Repeat these words with me. This moment is enough. I am enough. They are enough, just as they are. And maybe, just maybe, the rope you release today is the very one that has been standing between you and joy all along. Lesson 9. Reclaim your attention, the silent power that shapes your reality. In today's world, your attention is under attack. Every app, every notification, every headline is competing for it, pulling you in 1,000 directions before you've even had your morning breath. And yet, here lies a profound truth. Your attention is not something small or passive. It is a real force, like sunlight. Whatever you shine it on begins to grow. If you shine it on worries, on endless comparisons, on the chaos of other people's opinions, that's what will take root inside you. But if you direct it toward presence, toward awareness, toward peace, then that is what will blossom in your life. Buddhism reminds us of a truth that echoes across centuries. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. So pause and ask yourself, what am I feeding my mind today? Am I feeding it truth or noise? Am I nourishing it with peace or poisoning it with distractions? The modern world doesn't make this easy. Every moment is loud. Messages light up your phone. News cycles churn endlessly. Social feeds beg for your validation and your outrage. You're asked to care about 1,000 things at once, and the result is often that you lose connection to the one thing that matters most, you. But here's the liberating reality. Beneath all the noise, there is always a stillness inside you. A quiet space that doesn't disappear just because the world is chaotic. The noise can only touch it if you allow it. And your task, your practice, is not to silence the world. That's impossible. It's to return again and again to that inner space where peace lives. Attention is your greatest superpower, not simply for finishing tasks or checking boxes, but for shaping the very quality of your life. Because where your attention goes, your energy follows. And where your energy flows, your reality takes form. Think about a garden. If you water weeds, they'll grow tall and wild. If you water flowers, the space transforms into beauty. Your mind works the same way. Every glance, every thought, every click is like a drop of water. The question is, what are you watering? Taking back your attention doesn't mean escaping the world. It means becoming deliberate about what you allow into your inner garden. Unfollow the voices that drain your spirit. Mute the notifications that scatter your focus. Step away from anything that pulls you from your true path. This isn't just about cleaning up your digital life. It's about clearing the fog in your mind so your own voice can be heard again. Of course, this path isn't easy. Attention is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. And the modern world is designed to keep it weak, to keep you scrolling, refreshing, consuming. Distraction has become the default setting. Awareness takes training. It takes effort. But here's the beauty. Every time you notice your mind drifting, you have a choice. You can keep floating further away, or you can gently bring it back. Not with harshness, not with frustration, but with patience, with presence. Each time you return, your muscle strengthens. Each time you choose awareness, you step closer to peace. And remember, this isn't about perfection. You will get distracted. You will wander. That's not failure. That's practice. Mindfulness isn't about never losing focus. It's about noticing when you've drifted and choosing to come back again and again. So ask yourself now, where is my attention living today? Is it trapped in fears of tomorrow? Is it stuck replaying yesterday? Or is it here, in this breath, in this moment, where life is actually happening? The more often you choose the present, the more grounded you feel. And eventually, something remarkable begins to happen. The world may still be loud, but inside, you remain quiet. The noise keeps shouting, but it no longer owns you. Because the truth is simple. Your attention shapes your reality. Guard it, guide it, reclaim it, not just for productivity, but for peace. Conclusion: you are the sky, not the storm. By now, you've probably noticed something extraordinary. The noise hasn't disappeared. The world is still loud, thoughts still come and go, and life still throws its storms your way. But the difference is this: you no longer belong to the noise. You're not chasing every thought that runs through your mind. You're not drowning in every wave that rises within you. You've discovered what it means to remain steady, to stay centered in the middle of life's storms. So ask yourself right now, where is my attention flowing today? Is it helping me grow, or simply keeping me distracted? Is it feeding my anxiety, or quietly building my peace? The truth is, the world profits from your distraction. Companies, headlines, endless voices. They thrive when your attention is scattered. But your soul only grows when your attention is whole. When you decide what deserves your focus, you decide what kind of life you are building. You are not powerless. You are simply unfocused. Reclaim your attention, and you reclaim your life. Because underneath all the noise, there has always been a quiet power waiting for you. The kind of power that doesn't come from controlling the world, but from remembering who you truly are. And this is what this journey has been about. Not learning something brand new, but remembering something ancient, something that's always been true. The peace you've been searching for doesn't live in the next achievement, the next apology, or the next version of yourself. It's here, right here, in this breath, in this moment, in your ability to choose which thoughts you follow and which stories you release. You don't need to repair your entire life to feel at peace. You don't need every loose end tied up. You don't need every person to understand you. What you need is presence. And presence begins every time you pause, every time you breathe, every time you return to awareness, again and again. So when the world feels unbearably loud, when your thoughts start pulling you in every direction, remember this: pause, breathe deeply, let the noise pass through you, and come back to the truth that has always been here. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it all. The storms may come, the winds may rise, the noise may grow louder, but the sky does not break. It simply remains, wide, steady, infinite. That is who you are beneath it all. And now, I want to invite you to carry this with you. not just as words, but as practice. Share this message with someone you care about. Let it ripple outward. You never know. Your reflection in the comments might be the exact insight another person is longing to hear today. So tell me, what was the single truth in this journey that touched you most deeply? What is the one reminder you needed? Share it below, because your voice might be the bridge to someone else's healing. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and stay with us. This isn't the end of the path, it's the beginning of a new one. Each week, we'll keep walking together, creating a space of stillness and clarity in a world that never stops spinning. Until we meet again, remain steady, remain open, remain here. Because you are not the storm, you are the sky.